Oshio, welcome to the Red Road East. I'm your host, Fierce Truth Seeker. Today, I have a treat for you. By popular demand of the viewers, you requested our guest, who is a previous guest who was teaching the Cherokee language, and I got a lot of feedback, and people wanted to see more. So, joined with me in studio today is Two Feathers.
OCO. Thank you for
OCO.
having me, brother.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So we got a lot of feedback from that last show that we did.
Okay.
A lot of people said that they were interested in learning the Cherokee language.
right.
A lot of people hit me up on my email and also the comments on YouTube and stuff like that. So
Well, that's good to hear.
yeah.
It takes work, I can tell you.
Yeah.
Takes work.
Yeah.
I brought,
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
I'll show you how complicated Cherokee can be a little later on, but
Okay. Yeah. Well, before you get into the lesson, for our viewers, explain a little bit about the Cherokee Basics. Tips for
Okay.
like the basics about Cherokee.
Well, the Cherokees have been around for thousands of years before the Europeans got here. Of course, they are a woodland tribe based out of North Carolina and North Carolina, parts of Virginia, South Carolina. They had a big range of hunting grounds. Now, they've always had a spoken language, but when the Europeans came, the guy that invented this language, Sequoyah, saw what they call talking leaves, or we call books, and he wanted his people to be able to read books in Cherokee or write letters in Cherokee. So he came up with a sound system and a phonetic symbol system, which is called a syllabary, not an alphabet, but a syllabus. And this is the syllabus right here. 86 characters he made, and some of the characters look very similar. I'll go through that. I started learning from Red Eagle, who's learned from Grandfather Bill from upstate New York.
I remember Red Eagle.
Yeah. So I've been dabbling in the language for about 15 years. I had a school once called the Cherokee Language and Cultural Circle, but lack of funds killed programs. So,
Yeah.
But I'm trying to keep the language alive, you know that. I mean, people say they want to be Cherokee, but it's more to it than putting on pretty regalia and looking good at powwows.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
Yes.
Now, explain the difference between a syllabary and an alphabet.
Well, in English, they have like an alphabet, such as A, B, C, the alphabets that you know. But a syllabary is a symbol of sounds. Like, for instance, this D represents the sound of ah in Cherokee. This R represents the sound of A, E, O, U, Now in Cherokee, that's all the vowel sounds right there. Everything goes from left to right, and these are the vowel sounds. A, E, O, U, All the rest are consonants.
And explain the nasalization.
Well, the nasalization, especially in this one, is like saying an Egyptian ankh, but leave out the K. Like you stub your toe. And it's short. So, and then you just follow the sounds. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns. And each sound just goes all the way down. You just add the letter in front of it. In other words, this is ah. Next one is ga. Ka. Ha. La. Ma. Na. And this is like through the nose, like you're gonna sneeze. Na. And then na. Kwa. Sa. S. Da. Ta. I call this line the twin line. And then you have gla. This looks like a D, but it's pronounced as a G. Gla, kla. This is CH, cha. And this is wa and ya. But if you look at this right here. And then if you look at, where is it? Say. You see how that's an upside down 4, but this is a regular 4? So you see how he switched. So that's why in Cherokee, when you learn, you only have to learn how to speak it, but you have to learn how to read it. Mm-hmm. In order to speak it, you have to learn how to read it. So
Exactly.
that's why it takes so much work. Mm-hmm. It took me 6 months to learn the syllabary, where I could go from young to ah, and from ah to young.
Took me longer than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to practice every day. Mm-hmm. You know, but you can do it. But if you want to be a Cherokee speaker, you have to sacrifice your time.
Yeah, and like he's saying, you know, you can think that, you know, it looks simple, you know, but it takes time. You have to put time. Like you say, it took 6 months.
Yes.
For him to. It took me even longer.
Right.
You know, and that's with doing it every day. You know, so and then you know there's levels to the language. You know, it gets very intricate.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Yeah, because then you get into intonation.
Tonations and different sounds, and for instance, now there's the same symbols go east and west, but the pronunciations are different from the eastern people as far as the western people. Eastern people being the North Carolina, western people being Oklahoma. So let's take this line right here. It says qua, que, qui, quo, ku, quan. But in North Carolina, this becomes a G, so it becomes gua, gue, gui, guo, gu, guan. Mm-hmm. Another one is this. In Oklahoma, this is pronounced as a J. Ja, je, ji, jo, ju, jon. In North Carolina, cha, che, chi, cho, chu, chon. So there are different dialects. There's also a Katua dialect, which is, you can't go by this particular syllabary because the Katuas have their own dialect. So, and there are many dependent. I mean, I'm speaking New Yagi, New York, Cherokee. Somebody else will be from North Carolina, so they'll be like, very slow, you know, how you doing today? Exactly. You know what I mean? Whereas, so it's regional, you know. You got Cherokees in Texas. You got Cherokees in California. You have Cherokees in, you know, Ohio. So
they all have a different
and they all have a different twist on the language. So, but if you want to learn, you can learn, and there are books out on the language. It's just a matter of practicing and knowing who. The hardest part about Cherokee is having somebody to speak it with.
Speak with, it's true. It's true. Yeah.
You know, like they say, you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Very true.
Yeah. But I wish more people would take the time to understand that it's more to being native than just putting on regalia or putting on earrings or a choker, or it's more to it than that. And we're just one of the many people who have a language.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I think we're one of the few tribes that have a written language though. Like I say, we have a spoken word and a written word.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so what else would you like for the viewers to know about learning? Like, are there any tricks that you could give them for learning?
Well, you know how in English you get A, B, C, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Think of it as you would do in English. Instead of, you have A, but instead no B, no C, no D, so you go to G. After G, you have an H. After H, you have an L, M, N, Q, S, and then you have the twin line. All right, and then you have the L line or the K line. This is all pronounced with a K. Gla with a G, but Kla, Clay, Klee. So when you're learning how to write these characters, you're not going to draw these characters like they are on this. But you have to make it very close to what these are, because one wrong move and you could throw the whole word off, like good morning. Let's say hello. Now in Oklahoma, they say O, right? Here's your O. C, yo. So we have O, C, yo. That's hello. In North Carolina, they just say she-o. Same thing, she, yo. But if you look at this woe, and then you look at, this oo, it could be confusing, or na and oo. If you don't write the right little thing there, you got the wrong symbol, so your whole sentence gonna be off.
Exactly.
So you have to pay attention how to write these symbols, because each one is very unique.
And the two R-looking
Right.
ones too that can throw people off.
One, the top A is the R with the kickstand, like this. And then son is the R standing flat-footed. That's the way you have to see the difference. So when I write it, I would do the R and then curve this to make sure I have that little curve. And then this one, I put these 2 feet on the bottom so you'll know.
Yeah.
But that's why you have to be very careful of Cherokee, because some symbols look very familiar. Look at na. Look at na, and you have na, you have no, you have oo. Then you have these G's. You have wa down here. You have another G type thing over here. U. Nah, so you have to be very careful when you're learning how to write. Chalagi.
And the woe and the cock can throw people
Right,
off
that's
too.
right. See,
Yeah.
they're very, that's why you have to be very, look at how these things are written. Because, like I say, this is italics. But when you're writing something, you're not gonna draw it, but you have to make sure you put the characteristics on the character. That's the way you get it.
Yeah. It's something that you have to study and.
Yes, and you have to realize you can't speak Cherokee with an English mouth. I didn't say O-C-O. I said O-C-O. O-C-O. Everything is nasalized. O-C-O. Tohijo. Kato hatani hon kohiga.
Yep.
You know, it's not, I didn't say Gato hatani hon kohiga.
Exactly.
That's how it goes. Very nasalized, very rhythmic.
Yeah.
Like Chinese almost. People
Yeah,
think it's
melodic,
Chinese when I speak it.
True.
And they hear it, they're like, oh, you speaking Chinese? No, this is Chalagi.
Very true.
Yes.
And now what we want to do is make this language come alive a little bit for you. And Two Feathers is going to give you some words and phrases. Okay?
All right. Everybody always starts out with the simple phrase, hello. We say shio, which is hello. Tohiju, how are you? Good morning. Oshta shunalei. As opposed to tomorrow, shunalei. So there's the difference. Oshta shuna, you hear the pause in there? Oshta meaning good. Shunalei. All right, as opposed to shunalei, which means tomorrow. So you have to be careful. So I'll give you good morning, Oshta shunalei, good afternoon, Oshta sonhi ye klong. I know it sounds long, but in Cherokee it's saying like before the afternoon. That's what they consider midday, before the, so dikla means before. So Oshta son hi ye yi dikla, and then good evening, Oshta son hi ye yi, and then good night, Oshta u son i. When I teach, I try to use things that you can use every day, like colors, days of the week, numbers, sa, ta, jo, na, hishk, sudal, gali, june, sontne, shko. So that's how you count to 10. And the colors are different. You gotta learn how different foods, like corn is selu. Beef would be waka hawia. Pork would be sikwa hawia, which means meat, pig meat, or cow meat. That's how they say it. Horse is soguili. And squirrel is sololi. So there's a lot to learn that people could learn. It just takes a process, and you have to be willing to work.
And what about the 5 W's?
Well, when I teach, I always teach people the 5 W's. What, when, where, why, and how. Because that's most conversations start, right? Exactly. What did you do today? Where are you going? How are you doing? You know what I mean? When are you coming back? I mean, so you have to learn those. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's a simple process. You build. I'm still a student myself. Mm-hmm. So I didn't grow up on the res. I had the opportunity to learn, and I took the opportunity, and I tried to share it with other Native people, especially Cherokees, because everybody has a language. Yeah. Right? Italians speak Italian, right?
Exactly.
Navajo speak Navajo. Mm-hmm. Lakota speak Lakota. Exactly. So if you're going to say you're Cherokee, then you don't speak Chalagi. Mm-hmm.
It's not just putting on regalia and going to powwows.
But that's what I would like to see more Native people get into, the culture part of being Native, not the pretty part.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I would like for them to take the time, because in English, you don't learn it. You go to school to learn ABC. That's how you learn how to read, ABC. So this is the same process. You have to put the time in to learn this first before you be able to actually chiwoni chalagi.
Now, we're going to talk about the language and some more pointers in how to learn the language, some more tricks of the trade. So, Two Feathers, as far as someone who wants to begin the process of learning the language.
Yeah.
So basically the first step
is to learn the syllabary. All 86 characters. You know what I mean? And as you practice the words, you have to slow your speech, because Cherokee is actually a southern thing. So it's not Sheol, Toedro. Mm-hmm. So that's how you start to get the nasal in the rhyme. Sheol, Sheol. You know what I mean? Sheol. Kato Hadani, what's happening? It's all in here. And then they have something called a glottal stop. Like, you know how in English you say, uh-oh.
Right.
Well, in Cherokee they have, it's called a glottal stop when you go, So it's called a glottal stop, which is different as in English. A lot of it, as you say, has to do with tone and pitch.
Right. Yeah, because I know that if you say the wrong tone, you could actually be saying another word.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to be, all of that is something you have to, it takes time to acquire. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It takes time to acquire.
Yeah.
But, it can be done. Mm-hmm. And like I say, if people really want to get into the culture, then they need to learn this language. Mm-hmm. They need to, how to speak, how to write it. Because if you can write it and you go to the res, all the streets are in Syllabary.
Exactly.
So if you go to the res in North Carolina, all you're gonna see are these syllabary symbols. They're not gonna have these little letters beside them.
Exactly.
So I'm just saying, that's one of your inspirations. I went there and I didn't understand, what the symbols were put together, but I had an idea of how to read the streets. So, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, like you say, it's a process.
It's a process. And you learn a little bit at a time. What I did was I learned this row, then I learned this row. And then I put the 2 rows together. Okay, then I learned the next row, and I put the 3 rows together, and so forth and so on, until I had learned all 86 characters.
Yeah, I know what worked for me was like a lot of the, oh, thank you. Yeah. A lot of the characters that look the same,
yeah.
I would group them together.
Right. Right.
Like the ga.
Right.
And also the do.
Right.
And the other the day.
Right. Right.
It's very similar.
Right.
So I would group all of those together, like the ones that look
Right.
like a G, the
Right.
Y, the U. It's similar, just have
Right,
this
but it's
little-
very helpful. You know what I mean? Because you have a B and you have another B.
Yep. Exactly.
So that's what makes Cherokee very complicated but simple. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's little tricks,
Yes.
that you can do to make it,
Right.
easier to learn. But it's something, from my experience, it's something you have to do on a daily basis.
Yeah, at least, I would say at least 15 minutes a day.
Yeah, at least 15 minutes.
At least
a day.
15 minutes
And if
a
you
day.
can't do that, I would say at least you have to do this at least twice a week.
Well, yeah, if you're serious.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Most people, they claim they want to learn, but they don't want to put the time in. Because just like any other thing you're going to take, you got to have tests. You got to be able to speak. When it gets good enough, I have people write letters to each other, and you have to read the syllabary and figure out what they're saying. So, it's a process to get going.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah.
So, I thank you for having me, and I hope you've been an inspiration for me, and I hope we can be an inspiration for other people.
Definitely been an
All right.
inspiration
I
to me,
appreciate
man.
it.
I mean, this is it's really great to have you on the show again.
Well, thank you.
Like
Thank
I said,
you very
a lot
much.
of people have been asking, so
Okay.
I had to bring you back on.
I hope this does some good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I hope this will encourage people that there's more Cherokee than being in regalia and looking good at powwows.
Yeah. Well, thank you again.
All right.
And okay, folks, I wish we had more time, but we have to wrap it up because another show is about to start. So until the next time, do-da-da, gong hong e.
Don't a dog go home.
Now let's take a Joana, Nacheli, Amy y Katie, las niñas que han empezado este proyecto juntamente.